I've been in the danger zone.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to the 7th episode of the Danger Zone Wrestling Podcast. My name is not Daniel Kelly, as he has contracted ear AIDS. My name is Ryan Palmer, and I am joined by the hip-hop Himpy.
Hello, yeah.
And making his scintillating debut on the podcast due to the absence of our diseased colleague, I'd like to introduce the man, the myth, the Wayne Diggins.
Hello.
We've decided to tweak the format of this show a bit, so we will no longer be reviewing all of Raw. Instead, we'll just talk about the most notable parts of the show and maybe even talk about other goings-on in the business if we have time. So we're just trimming the fat, really, and just trying to make it more of a better show. Right, to begin with, it is now official that The Rock versus Cena 2 will happen at WrestleMania after Cena beat Punk on Raw this week. Now, what are our thoughts on this now that it's confirmed, gents?
Well, I can't say I'm happy that they've gone this route, but you can't say you're surprised either, can you? It's the money match, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the Barcelona versus Real Madrid of WWE, if you like.
Oh, JBL, I love that comment if he's listening, which he isn't, obviously.
Or it's the Calgary Flames versus the Edmonton Oilers for our North American listeners. You mean Canadian? Well, yeah. I had to get a Calgary Flames mention in there, so...
Fair enough. I'll pretend I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't begrudge them having this rematch, just like for the business point of view. It is, like you said, it is their biggest money match.
Yeah.
But I just think that they should have done it. They shouldn't have done it as soon as this. Maybe Mania 30, give it a 2-year gap kind of thing. And then like the once in a lifetime tagline from last year wouldn't be so fresh in our memories, and it doesn't just seem like a bit of a cop out, really. I kind of have a bit of a problem with how they're presenting Cena's redemption storyline at the moment, as I think that even to me as a Cena detractor, it would be more compelling if he had lost to Lesnar, Extreme Rules, lost clean to Punk, Big Show, and Ziggler and guys like that. Maybe not lose to all of them, but at least a few of them. In the short term, it may have hurt his popularity a little bit to take those losses, although I don't really think it would have. But now all his fans would be so excited that Cena was back and on the road to face The Rock and to face Rock again this year, and to hope, in their eyes, hopefully get his win against him in the title. If nothing else, it would have made quite gripping television, I think, and more of a defining moment when Cena does beat The Rock at WrestleMania, because it's going to happen. Instead, WWE are kind of short-sighted with it and threw any chance of this away, really. And hell, they might have even tricked some of the hardcore fans to warm a bit to Cena. You never know. But
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how they're going to do it differently this year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's going to probably end up being exactly the same match as it was last year, just with a different ending.
Yeah. I think they do, with Cena winning, they do risk people getting quite angry.
Especially in New York.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think the New York crowd is going to, celebrate that win so much, are they?
Maybe this will be the time that when Cena does win, people do riot.
Actually riot, yeah.
Yeah. The only way I can see people not being fuming is if he does actually turn heel. Now, I can't see it happening, but it would make sense. And it'd be a great way to cap it, but, it's not going to happen. But we can, wish. But, I think that would work very well. Because, to be honest, I think I would really enjoy Cena as a performer if he was heel more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he just played up to, the hardcore audience loathing of him, I think it'd be quite fun, and he'd be one of the guys I would boo, really, because I don't really boo people unless they are Cena or a Ryback or something like that. But this is they're not going to cater their product to the small percentages they see of the hardcore wrestling audience. Anyway, now talking about the Cena Punk match on Raw itself, I thought this was one of the best matches I can ever remember seeing on TV, to be honest.
Very good match. Another early match of the year candidate, definitely.
Yeah, and I thought it was the most superior match these two have had against each other.
It just seemed to click a bit more, didn't it?
Yeah.
Everything flowed really well. It was excellent.
Yeah. Even though it had a great audience, obviously for atmosphere, it weren't up there with their Money in the Bank match. But I thought in the ring, this was a lot better. Not that was like really bad, but So I mean, this was really surprising. I didn't expect that. I thought it really benefited from Punk looking every bit seen as equal. Something I thought that ruined the Punk Rock matches because Rock seemed like on a completely they made him seem like on a completely different level to him. So that's one thing I think really helped it. I think anyone who thinks that Punk carried this match is wrong. Both men looked like they had a point to prove, and I think Cena's point might have been that he's better in the ring than The Rock. And can't believe I'm saying it. If that was what he was trying to prove, I am inclined to agree with him. I think he possibly is better in the ring than The Rock now.
Yeah, well, The Rock's been inactive for so long, isn't he? It's bound to affect your ability after that amount of time. So, yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. Cena probably does have more ability than The Rock now. I might cry over that.
Yeah.
I think it made Cena look a lot better because he actually did a few more moves this time rather than just his normal 5.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his Frankensteiner was a bit dodgy still, but I suppose he's got to try something else. Even though, when did he do that last? Was it Money in the Bank or something like that? Or
can't remember.
Yeah, he did try one before. I mean, this time he just did land on his head, I think. But
the one against Rock at Mania was bad.
Oh, did he do one there as well?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And it was nice to see the pile driver in this match.
Oh, that was epic, wasn't it? That was excellent.
I nearly shat myself. I was like,
I think that actually killed the crowd, though. That was the crowd's reaction. They just like, what happened here?
Yeah. I thought if they were going to have Punk win, I thought that would have been a great way to have him get the victory using a banned move.
Yeah,
or something like that. And
that could have definitely been the way of getting a triple threat out of it, though.
Yeah. And I thought that would have been a great storyline way to do it, because we were kind of, on the podcast last week, we kind of discussed how they would do a finish that would lead to a triple threat if that's what they were going to do. But that would have been it. But apparently they said that Vince didn't. I have read that Vince didn't approve this or something. But
I was going to say, you could just imagine him completely losing his shit as soon as he hit that move.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Yeah, it's nice to see. But yeah. So let's move on to the other big talking point from Raw, which was the Lesnar and Triple H confrontation on Raw. What do you guys think of that?
Better than what they did in the summer.
Yeah.
This was a great way to start Raw. I think that really got things off to a great start. Great segment.
Yeah. I thought it was excellent as well. And in one segment, I went from dreading to see this match. Well, maybe not dreading, but I wasn't looking forward to it, to now really been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I imagine that it will be a street fight or something like that at Mania, which will greatly benefit the match. As I'd say that Triple H has always had his best matches, some of which are great, Mr. Hart, in no DQ settings. I'm really looking forward to this now. I think it could be something, and I expect Triple H to probably win, but hopefully he won't, because they'll have Cena going over, and hopefully they will throw in a shock here. And I mean, if they're going for like Brock at WrestleMania 30, you'd think Triple H would be smart enough to know that he shouldn't then go and beat Lesnar. But we'll see. But I couldn't believe the blood.
Oh, that was brutal, wasn't it? Absolutely brutal.
I thought Lesnar easily got it, because I take it happened when he got thrown into the ring post the first time. But to me, it looked like he got his hand up there to protect himself, but obviously not.
If you see I think it's the second time he got hit on the same side, you can actually see the mark on the pole that he left.
Yeah, that's crazy.
18 staples, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but very, very surprising that he bled that match and didn't care.
I know it's not the image WWE want to portray anymore, but how much better did the blood make the segment, sort of?
Yeah.
It just gave it a feeling of... it just gave it a feeling of, Christ, that was a hell of a brawl,
Yeah.
makes it seem realistic again.
Yeah, definitely. It was, excellent start. I wasn't, and I suppose it was good that they didn't peter too long on the Vince Heyman segment.
Yes.
Which I was not looking forward to. I thought was ridiculous, and I think
wonderful gore.
yeah, that was. I did like how Vince called Heyman the Ultimate Fighter. I think.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
That was quite funny. But yeah, I was still annoyed that Vince got the upper hand of him, even though he's got one very bad hip, and Heyman still can't get the better of him. Which was, I don't know. I suppose they had to set up Lesnar coming out somehow, so I'll let him off.
What was it? Heyman's reference to Zach Gow, a one-legged ass kicking.
Yeah.
I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if did anyone else think them crutches looked gimmick because they bent really easily.
Yeah, it didn't seem to hit him that hard, did it?
Yeah, it just bent. If not, then WWE have some terrible medical care if they're giving people crutches like that. It's just not good enough. Anyway, let's talk about the Jack Swagger situation. I think that after we recorded last week's episodes, about 1 hour afterwards, the news broke about Swagger being arrested for his DUI and being in possession of weed and that. And everyone, the internet just blew up with people thinking, he's going to get fired or something like that. And it looks as if there might not be any punishment coming his way. And certainly not one that will affect his push. Maybe he got fined behind the scenes, but nothing that seems to be noticeable on screen. Do you think he should have been made an example of and disciplined a bit more here, or?
He sort of put WWE in a very tough position, really, didn't he? I mean, they just lined him up for a world title shot, and pretty much, was it the next day it come out, or the day after? It was after the SmackDown taping, wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple of days later. Yeah. And
they're obviously very keen to push him and Zeb Coulter, so yeah, it put them in a hard position.
Yeah,
it's slightly different with him compared to everyone else, because everyone else was like painkillers, weren't it? Is there something not in there about weed, that's not on their list of banned substances?
No, it's not a wellness strike, but I think they were permitted to be able to fire him if they wanted.
Yeah, and probably because he just got arrested for it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if the actual police are going to be very lenient on him, are they? I'm sure I read that they were actually pushing for him to do a couple of days jail time.
Yeah, well, I hope they do. I mean, I have no sympathy for him. I think, he's given the best push of his career, which, to be honest, he doesn't really even deserve it. I mean, he hasn't been that good. When he did get his last push, he wasn't that great with the world title. And he repays WWE by doing this. I mean, not even a month after he re-debuted. If they had fired him, I would have had no sympathy for him. He's just acting like a fucking wanker to me, I think. I don't know, it's just really bad.
It was incredibly stupid, wasn't it? I mean, he's just come off the back of winning the Elimination Chamber and he gets done with a DUI.
It's just stupid, yeah.
When your career's about to take off again, why do you even risk it,
Yeah, he's obviously an absolute cretin. With the whole Zeb Swagger angle, I find it's weird that Swagger is barely involved in it. His role seems to just consist of bellowing "We the people" too many times. And that's about it. It's, and with that segment on Raw, this week's Raw, I thought Zeb completely destroyed Del Rio on the mic. And perhaps it isn't wise having the guy spouting racist comments winning the debate against the good guy. It's probably not the message to be shown, really. And Del Rio just showed no charisma on the mic, and all he could muster up in response to Zeb was insulting him and telling him to shut up. I don't think it looked very good.
I was expecting a big response because he was proper laying into him, weren't he? But he just spit out some sort of cliche, and the crowd was just flat, weren't they? They didn't even respond to Del Rio's responses. It's just
they're probably like, well, Zeb's probably right.
Probably.
They just
turned him around. Crowd, though, isn't it?
Yeah, which is even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Did anyone spot the sign which said they can't deport us all? It was in the background when that segment was going on.
I
That was quite funny.
remember seeing one sign that said, "I stole Zeb's job" or something. But, yeah, so
I'm half expecting to see someone do a South Park meme of them.
yeah,
But they took our jobs.
yeah. Now we've all had ranging opinions previously on this segment. I don't know if you wanted to chime in, Wayne, of what you kind of thought about
really enjoyed the two of them together, especially their videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the latest one with attacking Glenn.
Yeah.
Completely out of character, and I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. I think Zeb is really good. I've had issues with I don't know how appropriate it is to do it. It just seems a bit cheap. But I mean, you can't fault Zeb for it. He's doing, or Dutch Mantel, he's doing like a really good job. So I mean, he's doing the best he could with it. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't know. It didn't need to be swagger. He doesn't bring anything to it to me.
I think that's just the whole all American thing, isn't it? They're just taking on another step.
Yeah. It just fit together, didn't it? Really. So.
Yeah. It's like I understand why they did that, but I would have thought they would have given this kind of push. And obviously, this is a gimmick. They want to be really big. I'm surprised they didn't give it to someone else who would like be able to speak a bit too. Like I don't know who would come to mind, but maybe like a guy in NXT, they could have given this to someone like that, someone who can speak and would be like able to, go back and forth with Zeb. So yeah, but Swagger does seem like a weird guy because he is a bit of a charisma vacuum.
Yeah, he's decent in the ring, but like you said, his promos and his charisma is a bit off, isn't it?
I don't know. His beard really disturbs me as well. It makes his face look really fat at the bottom.
I need to study his face a bit more.
Yeah. Anyway, wanted to talk a little bit about Daniel Bryan again. I need to stop talking about him probably. But interestingly, last week before that the Bryan and Kane breakup was happening, and then although it probably still will, it seems not quite yet. I saw online that Bryan did an interview recently where he said he was getting the itch to be a serious wrestler again.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so hopefully this will happen now. Now, what I'd love to see is Regal become his manager. Obviously, the two have a lot of history together. And I think Regal said on Twitter that he was a bit disappointed that Bryan was doing a comedy character at the moment because he wanted to live vicariously through him. With him being like a serious wrestler and like a WWE champion and stuff like that. So I'd love to send Regal like kind of like approach him and say, why are you doing this comedy stuff and why are you acting the clown? You're a serious wrestler. That you're the most talented technical wrestler this company has or in the world. And then he kind of coaxes Bryan into being to going away from that. And Bryan like is heel again, and he's like more vicious in matches, and and then like Regal's proud of him for doing that. But then like Bryan goes way too far with it, and he's like really vicious to the point, kind of like we see with Paul Heyman not being able to control Lesnar. And I'd love to see something like that where like Bryan is just beating the shit out of people basically, and just coming because anyone who's seen his like independent stuff knows he's like one of the most believable guys that can hurt people, or legitimately look like he's hurting people. So I'd love to see something like that because although I've enjoyed Bryan's like comedy routine with Kane and whatnot, I would really like to see this change. I think it's definitely time, and I think going into WrestleMania it'd be a good time to do it.
I think they'll split them up at Mania.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I think it'll run just to Mania, and then they'll both go in different directions, won't they?
Yeah. Who do you think? What do you think they'll have a tag match at Mania?
Yeah, they'll have a tag match at Mania, maybe against the Usos, and then Bryan will probably turn on Kane.
Yeah,
cost them the match, and then they'll have a match at Extreme Rules.
Okay. I think I'd be surprised if it's the Usos. I think the most likely.
I was just thinking because they're the only ones I can think that are babyface that tag team.
Yeah, I think the most likely option would be something like Ambrose and Rollins from the Shield, and then because they have had some histories, and then they take the titles from them there. Maybe they have Reigns in a singles match with Ryback or something, or
I couldn't see them splitting the Shield up.
No, I don't think they're going to go that way now, because I think on Raw they had Sheamus and Orton still involved with the Shield. But I think it was, I still kind of would have thought they're going to do Bryan Kane at Mania. I think that is what they should do. I think that'd be...
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather see Bryan in a much bigger match, to be honest. But I mean, if they're going along that way, it should be have the singles match at Mania, I think. Have Bryan win.
The tag team division is so thin, isn't it? You can't... for a Mania match, you can't pick anyone out, can you, to face them? So.
No, yeah. They should have just had the Road Scholars take the titles from at Royal Rumble, I think. I think we all expected it.
What have them two gone on to do so far?
Exactly, yeah. They were doing much better as a team. Now, I mean, especially Cody Rhodes, they don't seem to have any time for anymore. And Sandow, they haven't... Well, he's been jobbing to people as well, really. I mean, so... Yeah, it didn't make any sense. I think everyone was surprised by that, and I bet them two were as well. So, we'll see, I guess. But
I would highly be in favour of your Regal and Brian link up, though. I think that could be potentially excellent.
Yeah, that would be nice. And I don't know, I just want to see Regal on TV again.
Exactly, they could get so much use out of him.
Yeah,
his in-ring days are done, but
he could still do sporadic ones, maybe tag team matches with Bryan.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, Bryan doesn't really need I'd see it more like in a Paul Heyman, CM Punk kind of role.
Yeah.
Bryan doesn't need a mouthpiece, but, there'd be some they'd work so well together. I mean, like, Punk and Heyman, well, they go back further in Punk and Heyman, a lot further, to like when he helped Bryan train, so... I think that would be brilliant, because I mean, even if later on, even if they didn't do it like my suggested thing, even if they wanted to still do a little bit of comedy with it, I mean, we all know Regal's brilliant at comedy as well. Even if they just want to keep that side of his character a little bit, have Bryan and Regal. I mean, that would be hilarious.
Do you think Regal might take over from JBL when JBL goes back to climbing mountains again on SmackDown?
I'd be surprised. I do like him on the commentary. He's different and like on NXT and stuff. But I don't think they have. I'll be surprised if he ever gets up to like a Raw or SmackDown. But I wish he would. Yeah.
Just a thought. I thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I'd love to see him. I think he's better than anyone else they've got. So it's just I don't know. Maybe because he's English, they don't want him. They only want American speaking. Commentators or something. I don't know how their minds work, but
you start to sound a bit like Zeb Coulter there.
Well,
the British Zeb Coulter over here.
Well, to be honest, WWE are slightly racist. It can be at times, but I think I read in Power Slam, the Power Slam magazine we get in England, that in the Top Raw 1000 Moments DVD. They have included the time that X-Pac blacked up for some reason. I don't know. It was to do with Mark Henry, I think. And he blacked up. And they included it in the top 1,000 Raw moments. So that that kind of sums up some of WWE's principles and what they think is right and wrong and to include. I mean, even at the time it was wrong. But, I mean, don't then put it in a DVD now. It's, there we go.
I think that was the segment when they mocked the nation, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was the Attitude Era. It was fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I suppose in Attitude Era, but then don't release it. And nowadays, I mean, yeah. Oh well.
There you go.
Yeah.
I expect Kane sleeping with a dead cheerleader to be in the top 1,000.
Oh, I don't know. What, Triple H humping the what was it, the mannequin or just the casket?
It was a mannequin, wasn't it?
Oh dear.
How did we get on to talking about this?
I don't know. Oh dear. But Himpy, you wanted to talk about the Undertaker?
Yes, I did, yes. As we all saw, well, we must have all saw by now, surprise return at a house show event last week in Waco, Texas, was it? Is it Waco, Texas? It was Texas anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah, obviously we all expected him to come back from Mania, I think. This was a good chance for him to give his body a sort of a test run, if you like. And I expect they're going to go with Undertaker and CM Punk, which should be very, very good.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that they did this, because now I suppose we were all expecting Undertaker to come back, but if he'd turned up next week without him appearing on this house show, I suppose it'd been a bit more of a, well, maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's just because simply everyone thought, oh, it's WrestleMania. When's the Undertaker turning up?
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine being in that crowd and Taker coming out? I mean, I suppose it's worth it for them alone, but.
Yeah, I watched their towel video and the noise was absolutely deafening. They went mental.
Yeah.
I kind of think they've done it. So, everyone was then watching Raw this week to think, when's he going to turn up?
Yeah, possibly. That's a good point. Yeah.
Quite possibly,
yeah. So, but, I'd imagine he'd be back next week. I mean, not too long to build a feud if he's not coming back next week, but we'll see. Speaking of, talk about Power Slam again. Someone had written into them asking how old they think Undertaker is, and they were under the impression that Power Slam said that they think he's possibly 51, born in 62. Because it's apparently that's what they were. That's what they thought. I mean, they don't know for sure, but people are thought he's about 47 at the moment. But apparently WWE might have shaved a couple of years off his. Or put a couple of years, shaved a couple of years off his actual age to, I don't know, what seems old. But yeah, so.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so, which is, I don't know. I was very surprised by that because, I don't know, I thought he was late 40s or so. If he is actually 51, that would be quite surprising. Because, I mean, he would have, even when he was on top quite a while ago, he'd have still been 40. 11 years ago, he'd have still been 40. When he'd have been still doing the American Badass. Was he still doing the American Badass gimmick then? Yeah, he must have been.
What year was this, sorry?
11 years ago, so 2002.
Oh, yeah, he was, yeah. Right up to 2004. WrestleMania 20, he come back as the dead man, didn't he?
Yeah.
His Wikipedia account says it was March 24th, 65, making him 47 years old.
Oh, really? Yeah, because they did quote that one, but they weren't convinced that was actually right. But I don't know.
Well, they could have easily changed, hadn't they?
Yeah, I mean, Wikipedia. I mean, fans will put that up there. So, I mean, that's not the official date of birth, but
there was a link to their family tree legends, and it's got his birth date on there.
Okay, no, maybe Power Slam are wrong then.
Yeah, they're quite a big magazine. You think they'd have some sort of substance if they're gonna print that? But.
Yeah, they usually write about most things. They always have quite. I do enjoy Power Slam with FSM too. So,
definitely.
Yeah, they usually have quite a good inside scoop on what's going on backstage and things at Power Slam. So, I don't know. Well, it's a mystery.
Well.
We'll see. Yes. Okay. Anything else we'd like to talk about, guys?
I don't think so. I think it's rounded this week up pretty nicely there.
Good stuff.
Yeah, nothing I can think of.
Good stuff. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Wayne for standing in.
Thank you.
And yes, we don't know if Daniel will be back next week. We'll have to see how the ear does. But yeah, that will do it for this week. Remember to check us out on our website, www.thedangerzonepodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at DZ Podcast and find us on Facebook and YouTube by searching for The Danger Zone Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we ask that if you enjoyed it, please recommend us to people you know. So until next week, you've been in the Danger Zone.
I've been in the danger zone.
I've got this infection.
Oh, have you?
It's in the ear.
How do you get it in?
Ear infections.
Oh.
Listen, Del, you won't tell the others about this, will you? I mean, these days people get the wrong idea about this sort of thing.
Come on, don't be silly, Denzel. Of course I won't.
It's just an ear infection, that's all.
Wait, Denzel, you don't have to prove yourself to me, do you? I'm your mate.
Cheers, Del.
It's all right. Oh, by the way, there's been a change in plan. You're no longer in charge of the sandwiches.